Just listen to this news story. Ready? Sony wants to have game developers create an exclusive graphics mode for the PS5 Pro. So if you currently own an Xbox, wow, an Xbox Series S or X, you may have noticed that certain games have this icon like in the corner of the game art, and it'll say like optimized for Xbox Series S and X. And what that means is supposedly the game developer tweaked that game to run as well as possible on that console. In some cases, that particular version of the game will run at higher frame rate or more stable frame rate, have added features and things that other versions of the game don't have. Okay? So what Sony is saying is, hey, on the PS5 Pro, we want this special graphics mode very similar to that to include 60 frames per second, upscaling to 4K using the PSSR technology, and ray tracing. The PS5 Pro will also have something that will be called an Ultra Boost mode for games that don't have these specific enhancements. And you're like, well, what is that? Well, basically pushing it as far as it can without having a specific mode just for PS5. So here's what's funny about that. Did you just hear what it said? I'm going to repeat that. Sony is requesting that game devs make a special mode for games running on their PS5 Pro console that will be 60 frames per second, 4K resolution, and have ray tracing. Wait a minute. Isn't that what it's supposed to have already on PS5? Doesn't it say that on the box? Hold on a second. Hold on. Ah. $8K 4K 120 HDR. 8K 4K 120 HDR. What the fuck? Wait a minute. So, I gotta fucking get this shit. Okay. So you're telling me that they sold that console, the base PS5, on the premise that it would have all that stuff. It doesn't. Games don't render at 8K. Games don't render at 4K 120p. They don't run at 120 frames per second. Is there a single game that runs at 120 frames per second on base PS5? It says it on the box. I just read it, and it doesn't have it, right? So essentially what they're saying is, we want you to buy another PS5 to get what we said was in the last PS5. And we're requesting that game developers actually do it this time. Huh? Like, am I the only one who like doesn't fall for this stuff? Maybe? Am I really? Am I the only one who sits here and I'm like, that doesn't sound right to me. We already paid for it. We already bought it. It says it on the fucking box. And if it's not in it, you know what I mean? Like, again, what's the saying? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I already bought your console, dude. You already lied. You know what I mean? You already lied. So now, buy another console. Who's to say that these game developers, just because Sony's requesting it, that doesn't mean the game developers are going to do it. Game developers cannot get their games to run 60 frames on a current console at 1080p resolution. I'm going to repeat that. Game developers cannot get their games to run at 60 frames per second at only 1080p resolution on current consoles. What makes you think because you give them better hardware that they're going to do it? Like, it's not the hardware. It is not the fucking hardware. It's the game developers now that are the bottleneck. A technology is advanced too fast, too quickly, too far. And we have technology that's way above what we need. What we need is more talent in the game development pool. And we need to have management in the game development pool that cares about the games running well and performing rather than pumping out an unfinished product for quick profits. We don't have that yet. So why are we making another console? Who needs a new console? Nintendo. Why does Nintendo need a new console? Because the Switch is 2 generations behind tech-wise. That's who needs a new console. Sony does not need a new console. Xbox does not need a new console. There's nothing wrong with their existing consoles. The game devs haven't caught up to the capabilities yet. So we have to stop this fucking madness. This whole story, I'm reading this, I'm like, and there's people freaking out. This is great. I can't wait to buy a PS5 Pro. I'm going to get this. Like, are you stupid? You already have the box that does it, and it doesn't do it because the game devs didn't make it yet. Why the fuck do you want another console? I mean, what the fuck? What is wrong with people? What is with this? We absolutely must own every piece of technology, even if it doesn't do anything new. Every year I must go out and buy the new iPhone, despite the fact nothing new was added to it. I'm just an idiot. I got to go buy the new console from fucking Nintendo. I got to buy the new controller. I got to buy the new... Stop. Your behaviors make this possible. Your behaviors of spending on shit that you don't need, that doesn't do anything, make these companies pump out all this bullshit. This console not only is not needed, it does absolutely nothing to help the games industry. You're not going to see revolutionary new performance of games on a PS5 Pro. No one's utilizing base PS5 yet. So stop asking for more and stop buying more. Your stupid actions directly finance more stupid actions from these game companies. You will never see a good-looking Pokemon until you stop buying the Pokemon that looks like shit. All right? You will not see companies stop trying to take advantage of consumers until the consumers get wise and stop taking advantage of. It's just, I can't believe it. I'm reading the story, and you can look in the comments, and everyone's, ha ha ha, this is great news. Like, ha ha ha, you're all fucking dumb. Every one of you. See, this is the problem. Steak Sandwich says, well, it's their choice. It's their money. Yes, it's their choice, but you have to understand something, Steak Sandwich. Their choice is ruining the game industry for everyone. There is a reason why it's taken so long to get GTA 6 and all the DLCs for GTA 5 were canceled. The people who sunk money into GTA Online for a decade. So you could say, oh, it's great. They can spend their money on whatever they want. But when it hurts everybody else, that's when there's a problem. When the whole games industry gets pushed to a live service model and the only games we can get are $60 up front, and then you have to continuously do microtransactions to get anything out of the game. Oh, well, people could just do what they want with their money. Yeah, but you fucked everyone over. Now we all have to play those shit games. There's nothing left. You understand? That is what I'm saying. People need to wise the fuck up. They need to. Or else this industry will continue to go down the slippery slope it's going. You will have more shit games than other good games. You won't have the good games we used to have anymore. It's going to be all crap, man. It's just frustrating, you know? Anyway, that's my take. You can completely disagree with me, and that's fine. You know, that's totally fine. I'm getting tired of in this industry, people who are just so ignorant. This should be bad news. Like, no exaggeration. This news story should be like a bad news story. Like, wow, that's really stupid. We already bought the console, and now they're asking that game devs do what was promised on the box of that console on another one that we have to buy for even more money, right? That's a bad news story. But no, it's not. Go look at the people reporting that story, and everyone's excited. Oh, this is great. I can't wait for it to buy my PS5 Pro. They're all morons, and they all have money. Morons with money, and they spend it stupidly, and it skews the industry in a bad direction. What should happen is no one buys the PS5 Pro. It tanks. And then Sony says, oh, fuck. Maybe now we actually have to have people make good games instead of focusing on tons of hardware no one needs. But that's not what's going to happen. PS5 Pro is going to be a bestseller. Everyone's going to want one. You're going to have to pre-order it. You're going to have to fucking buy it from scalpers on fucking eBay again. It's the whole rigmarole over again. It's going to be the same cycle, you know? It's frustrating, man. It is. It's frustrating. I've been around YouTube now for 16 years. I've seen this industry, how it evolves and how it changes and the things that happen. And it's like, people are getting so dumb in the way that they act. And then it's just going to keep getting worse. There is a very good reason right now why we are 5 months almost. We're 4.5 months into the gaming year. All right. And maybe on one hand, you can count the actual number of good games that have come out. There have been a ton of games that have come out. But this year, what are the big, giant, interesting blockbusters that we liked that came out? And by the way, that's subjective too. It's not even like it used to be where everyone agrees there's this game and this game and this game was great. Some people will be like, oh, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Some people will be like, oh, Like a Dragon. Some people will be like, oh, this, that. You know, you just pick and choose. But it's not like it used to be. It used to be by now, a third into the year, we would have had a ton of amazing games that came out and everyone was blown away. Instead, we got fucking Suicide Squad, right? We got Rise of the Ronin, which is meh. You know, we got these meh, so-so games. Dragon's Dogma 2 that runs like dog shit. Everywhere. It runs like fucking dog shit. It's a piece of shit. Why? Because we have an industry where people over fucking spend on shit and don't demand better. So you will keep getting shit served to you until you stop spending your money on shit. It will continue. This vicious cycle will never end. So there you go. Dogma is dog shit. It runs like shit. It's a game that would be good if it performed well, and it performs absolutely poorly. It looks awful. And there's no reason for it to run that way on consoles. There's just no excuse for it to run that poorly. Drew Corporation, don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say the game overall is bad. I'm saying the graphical performance of the game is bad, which I said the entire time I played it. I said it's passable, but man, it should be better than this. You should not be paying full price for a game that runs below 30 frames fucking per second. It's just not acceptable. Okay? So anyway, you see the points I'm making, right? This is the way the industry is going. Worse performance rather than better, yet we're buying better hardware. Why is that? Because people keep spending on the shit. It will not improve till we change. We have to change this mentality of go buy every fucking new game, even though they run crappy, you know? Okay. All right.